The big exclusive story we're tracking here on Republic TV. They make anti-India statements on Indian soil, bat for Pakistan and speak out against the Indian army. But the same separatists are looting India to create their very own empire. Republic has accessed a dossier exclusively which shows Hurriyat's property details from orchards to palatial bungalows. These separatists have it all, and it seems for them, Azadi is equivalent to looting Kashmiris, malls, bungalows, orchards, just about everything. Hashtag Hurriyat loots Kashmir is the big story we're tracking over here. Republic TV has got its hands on a 20-page dossier exclusively which gives out details of all the different kinds of luxurious properties owned by Hurriyat. This, even as they sit on Indian soil and bat for Pakistan, and that includes all the names that are seeing on your screens. Mirwaiz Umar Farooq, Syed Ali Shah Gilani. Details of who owns what right here with Republic TV. 20-page dossier that exposes Hurriyat's stacking up of properties across Kashmir. This even as they conspire to create unrest in the Kashmir Valley. We're now being joined by Deputy News Editor Shawan Sen from our Delhi studios for more on that big exclusive story. Shawan, you accessed that 20-page dossier that lists out how the Hurriyat is looting Kashmir and setting up an empire of its own.
Well, that's right, Krishna. For the first time on Indian television, what you're going to see right now is the details of the Benami properties that some of these hardliner separatists have. And the fact is that this is a 20-page document that we have accessed, which gives us details of every separatist leader, beginning from Syed Ali Shah Gilani to Mirwaiz and also Yasin Malik and Shabir Shah. What is shocking is that we've gone through each and every page of this particular dossier. It gives us details of not only the bungalows that they have in Srinagar, but also in other parts of the country. For example, let me quickly begin with you. The first big person in this particular dossier is that of none other than Syed Ali Shah Gilani, whom we exposed about a week ago, where we said that he is no one but a terrorist in chief, given the fact that he has been in touch with groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba as well as, for that matter, Hizbul Mujahideen. Here, what is shocking, Krishna, is that he's got a flat in New Delhi, which we are given to understand is in the name of one person called G.M. Bhatt. Now, G.M. Bhatt is a Hawala conduit. Not only that, this is the same place where, remember, Krishna, this Syed Ali Shah Gilani comes to Delhi and spends his winter in New Delhi. This is the very place where he stays. Apart from that, what else does he have? He's got a 2-storied house in Duru in Sopore. Thereafter, there's an official, which is worth about 1 crore. Now, this is a valuation which was done some time back. Obviously, we're now given to understand that the figure has certainly increased. Thereafter, also an office cum residence, which is in the name of a trust, which is run by Bashir Ahmed Bhatt, Pir Saifullah. Now, Pir Saifullah, let me point out, Pir Saifullah is a person who is now in the NIA custody. The charge against Pir Saifullah is for raising funds for terror acts. Now, this is the man who is also he's very much a part of this office cum residence that belongs to Syed Ali Shah Gilani. Thereafterwards, also 2-storied house in Barazullah, which was thereafterwards transferred. As far as Srinagar properties are concerned, it just goes on. There are another 2 houses that he has got in Srinagar itself, in Bemina and Baghe-Mehtab, and also he is got in Patan. Now remember, the fact is that it doesn't end with just Syed Ali Shah Gilani, because what we are given to understand is the fact that there are more people who are involved. That is his son, as well, son-in-law, Altaf Shah Fantush, that is son-in-law, and Nasim Gilani and Naeem Gilani. Let me put this in context. Why does it become so very important that we are basically raising questions about the properties they own? The fact is that where does the money really come in from? They are separatists, full-timer separatists as what they claim. They have a business called Azadi, and that is where we are raising this question. Where do you really have the money for properties that was actually owned by Hawala conduits? Even if you look at Nasim Gilani, we're given to understand Nasim Gilani also had a property a land orchard in Doru Sopor. And let me just read out from this particular dossier that we have. He took over the charge of a unique public school Sopor as its chairman after a long tussle once again with GM Bhatt. Now, what comes across is the relationship that Saeed Ali Shah Gilani shares with the Hawala conduit, that is GM Bhatt. He's got properties in Delhi through a Hawala conduit, and thereafterwards Naseem Gilani, who's also now under the scanner of the NIA, he too has basically taken land from what we're given to understand from a Hawala conduit named GM Bhatt. So it becomes very, very clear that the kind of properties that they have, they've got houses which spread across the valley in Srinagar and Sopor. If you look at Naseem Gilani and Naeem Gilani, thereafterwards also
Shawan, it's very clear. The most important fact that comes out from this dossier is the fact that Azadi, in no uncertain terms, is a business. It's listed as business at the end of the day. What we've been claiming all this while. We're also going to be joined by Zeenat Fazal, straight from Srinagar. Zeenat, the 20-page dossier that we've accessed clearly shows that for separatists, Azadi is equivalent to a business.
See, Krishna, absolutely, we have been seeing the properties of the Hurriyat leaders being scanned by the NIA for a long time. Though there was a case registered by the NIA in which the preliminary inquiry was also initiated in 2016, but later on the NIA gave a clean check to the Hurriyat leaders. That also included the Saeed Ali Gilani as his own two of his sons. But this time we have seen, since the NIA conducted its raids from 3rd of June, this year, we have been seeing that not only the NIA raids conducted, but many of the property statements were confiscated, property details were there, and also many of the properties of the Hurriyat were raided also in Delhi as well as in Haryana and in Jammu as well in Kashmir. So this is all the impact of that. Now they are coming up with a dozer in which the Hurriyat leaders and their property figures. Yes, as per the sources that my Shravan, my colleague, talked about, that there is a dozer and the properties have been identified, whether it is a property of Saeed Ali Gilani, Yasin Malik, Mirwais Umar Farooq, or the people associated with the Hurriyat G, Hurriyat M, or the Yasin Malik's JKLF. We have been seeing that the people associated with the trade, normally they do the separatist kind of business, they are more in the Narabazi kind of thing, they call for the... What about the daily earnings on which the normally a household runs? We have not seen Mirwais working in some firm or holding some kind of business by which they can earn their daily livelihood. So the money that is coming definitely needs an answer, where from the money comes, how they manage their day-to-day life. Because, and the people who are not only the Hurriyat, the hierarchy of the Hurriyat, but the people who are the lower rung officers in the Hurriyat conference group, whether we talk about the low rung readers, they too are in the Hurriyat business all the time for the shutdowns or the issuing the statements, are thronging the streets calling for the protest. How they run their household, how they manage their families, how they manage the school fee of their children. Obviously, many of the questions were raised many times by the people, but though they were not openly saying, they were not raising the things very openly, but now NIA, as per our sources, are answering the questions that were in people's mind for a long time. Back to you.
Right, Zeenat Fazil getting us that report from Srinagar live, and we're also being joined by Deputy News Editor Shawan Sen from our Delhi studios. Zeenat, stay with us, stay with us. Shawan, can you give us more details on that dossier that's there in your hand, the 20-page dossier exclusively accessed by Republic TV?
Well, as far as Saeed Ali Shah Gilani's son is concerned, who is now under the scan of the National Investigating Agency, that's Naeem as well as Naseem Gilani, what is shocking now is never before have we really looked at the business interests of the Gilani family. Here comes the business interest that we are now putting out. Remember, in this particular dossier, and I'm reading out from the dossier, it says that it is estimated that about 4 to 5 truckloads of gypsum limestone is extracted daily from the firm that has been owned by Naeem Gilani from the quarry. That is, this quarry is in Baramulla district, is what we are given to understand. The firm deposits about 130 to 135 ton as royalty to the State Stone and Quarry Department. The quarry has been functioning illegally, and the officials of the Forest Department had impounded their instruments being used there to extract gypsum a number of times. but the same got released under the influence of Naeem Khan. So Krishna, what we are putting out today is yet another shocking detail as far as the business interest of the Gilani family is concerned. So now they're also, where exactly are they getting the money? That becomes very clear. You're basically, once again, you are getting money from illegal businesses that you're running across the valley. Now, he continues this scoring activities, what I'm being given to understand by my sources in the National Investigating Agency, saying that they are still into this particular
Shravan,
business.
stay with us.
So we are putting together.
Shravan, stay with me. We're also being joined by Sushil Pandit on the phone line on this massive exclusive story. Join me in asking him a few questions. Sushil Pandit, we here at Republic TV have accessed exclusively a 20-page dossier that lays the truth bare open. Azadi is a business conducted by Hurriyat and Separatists, and the money is funded by illegal businesses like stone quarrying carried on by Hurriyat.
Yes, they have turned the jihad in Kashmir into a very lucrative enterprise. They are receiving funding money, blood money from Pakistan, and they use largest distributed by the government of India to build further resources in order to build personal wealth. It is this combination which has led to fattening of these.
All right.
Hello?
Right, Sushil Pandit there, our contributor, Republic TV's contributor, explaining what exactly this means. Is a 20-page dossier exclusively as per Republic TV that shows the real truth behind Azadi.